One of the hottest sectors in all of crypto is DePIN. If you don't know, DePIN stands for Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks. And basically, it uses crypto or blockchain to incentivize the creation of real-world networks, be it wireless networks, energy systems, you name it. As you can imagine, such a sector has a massive addressable market because pretty much all the infrastructure in the world could be disrupted by such projects. In fact, according to a Messari report, the DePIN sector has the potential to reach $3.5 trillion by 2028. And that's why I'm so bullish on this sector. But what about projects within this sector? Like, which ones are most promising? Well, in my opinion, one of the most promising ones would have to be Peak. Now, I'm not just saying this because they are our channel partner. I actually thought this before we started working with them because Peak has so much going on for it. They already have the second most DePIN projects in their ecosystem behind only Ethereum. And in today's video, I'm going to share what makes them special and why they could end up dominating the DePIN sector. But before we get to all that, what the heck is Peak anyways? Well, it's a layer 1 blockchain that's specifically designed for DePIN projects. This means it's fast, cheap, secure, and has a bunch of primitives that are tailor-made for DePIN. But why does that even matter though? Like, can't these projects just build on Ethereum or Solana? Well, they could, but that's not the best idea, as those platforms need to be general enough to support all types of use cases, from meme coins to DeFi. But DePIN projects are complex beasts in their own right, with a whole different set of requirements. For example, they generally have a high number of users and machines in their networks all communicating with each other at the same time. So they need a high throughput, aka the ability to support a high number of transactions per second. And then they also need for the gas fees to be cheap, or else their applications will never work. So I think you get the idea here. But fortunately, Peak understands all this, which is why they built their blockchain to serve DePIN projects specifically. Now, so far we've only been talking generalities, but I think it's important to look at the details to truly understand what makes Peak different. Like, in terms of their scalability, they have the capacity to scale beyond 100,000 transactions per second, and their gas fees are $0.00025, which is as cheap as Solana, if not cheaper. They also have a block time of 6 seconds, but they plan to reduce that to 0.25 seconds in the future, so clearly Peak's performance is impressive. But if you think that makes them super centralized, then think again. Their Nakamoto coefficient, which is a measure of decentralization, is over 90. And that's freaking impressive, as the higher the number means the more decentralized they are. And then, Peak is also designed to be great for builders. They support EVM and Rust smart contracts and palettes, so developers can have the flexibility and convenience they desire. They also have a bunch of ready-to-use modular DePIN functions that will help builders greatly speed up their deployment time. A great example of this is their Peak ID, which lets you create self-sovereign IDs for machines, robots, or devices to enable secure interactions between all of them in a DePIN's network. Finally, Peak is EVM compatible and just super interoperable in general. Like, some of their components even work with Cosmos or Solana as well. So clearly, Peak is great for both builders and end users. But it's not only that. They also make it accessible for anyone to participate in their network. Peak's nodes only cost $3,000 per year, which is decently affordable for those who want to help run and operate their network. So yeah, I think you're starting to see the bigger picture here. Like, all these great features combined explains why Peak is growing so rapidly. They're on track to be in the top 10 of the most active chains out there if you count the number of active wallets in each network. They're also on track to capture over 25% of the DePIN market by the time their mainnet launches. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were able to surpass Ethereum one day in terms of DePIN market share, as they already have over 20 promising projects building in their ecosystem. If you're curious about which ones those are, then here are some to check out. First is eLoop, which is a Tesla sharing network, and they have the largest Tesla fleet in all of Vienna. Second is Silencio, which is a project that tackles the problem of noise pollution. Third is Wingbits, which has to do with flight tracking. And fourth is PowerPod, which is building a global electric vehicles network. So I hope these give you a good idea of all the diverse and powerful applications building on Peak. But I definitely expect for this trend to continue, as Peak is focused on innovating and delivering a great platform for all DePIN projects. In fact, something that's hard to quantify but equally important is the fact that they have such a concentrated community of DePIN builders all under one roof. This is actually super important, because just put yourself in the shoes of a builder. Wouldn't you want to join a collective of teams that understand the nuance of what you're trying to build? Like, they can help you test out or adopt your product, and most of them will also just vibe with your vision as well. So this super synergistic community is yet another killer feature of Peaks, and this is why I believe that they are poised to dominate the DePIN sector for years to come. Now, for those of you who are wondering, they do not have a token out yet, but they do plan on doing a public offering soon, followed by a token listing. So if you want to follow along, then just use my link below and put your email in there to catch their launch updates.